Okay, this is ACT Science, Passage 3. This is a data passage. For data passages, the D stands for data, and don't read. You can just get to the questions quickly. We know it's data because we only see data in the passages, just charts and graphs. We're going to take the R&R approach, read, then reread the questions, breaking it down step by step. Question number 14. For which of the following moons is the semi-major axis closest to 1 billion meters? We see semi-major axis described in the reading as the letter A. They put it in italics to bring your attention to it, and we see that in figures 2 and 3, right? So we see the A, which is listed in meters, which gives you that hint as well. But figure 3 doesn't have the names of the moons listed. So what does this mean times 10 to the 9th? Well, that means there's going to be a whatever number followed by 9 zeros. A little bit of knowledge in that question, I suppose. So we want to know which one is actually closest to a billion. So we're only looking at these moons, these 4, and which one is closest to the 1 is what we're looking at, because that would be 1 billion. And the one that's closest is Titan, right? It's just a little bit above a billion. If you went with the largest, which is probably the distractor here, you would get Iaptis, right? But the answer is Titan, H. Number 15, based on figures 1 and 3, the majority of the moons in groups 1 to 4, so we're looking at all the moons, have orbits that are which shape, circular or elliptical. We see that in figure 1, and it says if E equals 0, it's a circular orbit. If E is greater than 0 but less than 1, it's an elliptical orbit. Well, our chart doesn't even go as high as 1, so everything above 0.4, I guess, is going to be an elliptical orbit. So the majority of the moons, vast majority, all but 4, are elliptical orbits. And so why is that? We go to choice D, because they have an orbit greater than 0 but less than 1. Number 16 doesn't tell you at which figure to look at to find the answer, but we do see we're looking for orbital energy, which is in figure 4. And it says there is a group 4 moon, so the group 4 is that 4th column, which has an orbital energy similar to those of a group 1 moon, so they're similar. What is the approximate orbital energy of this moon? Well, the moon in group 4 that is most similar is right here, right? And it is at 10 to the 28th, and so that is G. Number 17, based on figures 2 and 3, for which the ranges listed below are there no moons plotted? So we're going to start and just process of eliminate. We'll start with the first one. An I range between plus 10 and plus 30 degrees. So that's here, and we don't see any moons plus 10 to plus 30. We have one that's just below plus 10, so we know that 1 is correct. So we can eliminate choice A and B. Now, we're not even going to check choice 2, right? Because choice 2 is present in both C and D. We're only going to check 3. An E range between 0.5 and 0.7. So 0.5 and 0.7, we do see some moons plotted. So we know that choice D cannot be correct, so our answer has to be C. Number 18, based on figures 2 and 4, each moon that has an inclination angle greater than 30 degrees, so that's going to be these moons, right? So the inclination angle is the I, and so it looks like they're all the group 2 and group 3 moons, the X's in the triangle, has an orbital energy, so orbital energy, that is within which of the following ranges. So we're doing the X's and the triangles as groups 2 and 3. So this would be greater than 10 to the 22nd, but less than 10 to the 26th. So that's going to be choice G. 19. Suppose if why questions ask you to extrapolate some information, make some inferences, so you got to think a little bit. So a new moon is discovered in orbit around Saturn. It's classified as group 3 based on figure 3. So group 3 moons, the green. What would be its A value and E value? So let's go. The A value is going to be a little bit like 15 to 20, right? So that's going to be either C or D. And the E value is going to be 0.3 to 0.6. So it's going to be choice D. It's going to find something that falls in each of those ranges. So answer is D. These are all interpretation of data questions. So there's not many categories to distinguish here, but here's the answers so you can double check should you need. If you have any questions about this passage, be sure to reach out. We'll end with our silly joke. Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson were out camping, and in the middle of the night, Sherlock Holmes wakes Dr. Watson and says, "Watson, you can see the rings of Saturn. What does that tell you?" Watson looks up and says, "Well, I need more information. Do you want to know astronomically, astrologically, meteorology?" He goes, "No, it tells you someone stole our tent." All right, y'all have a good day.